Hello and welcome to Processing. What I want to do is spend a few minutes just acquainting you with where you can download Processing, how you can find some help if you need it, and how to get your first sketch up and running. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to go to processing.org. Processing.org is the home of all processing related information, and there you will find a big button on the front that says download Processing. So when you download Processing, it's free and you can download for Windows, Linux or Mac. They all look and behave the same on the surface, so just pick whatever one obviously is your operating system. Make sure that you're on this Processing tab. Processing has a number of different environments, and you'll see that when we go into the program itself. I'll show you where that is, but just make sure it's processing.org/download. Once you have downloaded Processing and you open it up, you'll find something that looks like this. And so Processing is a fairly straightforward setup. It was designed initially for like interaction designers for prototyping. So you can see a program is actually called a sketch. So there's kind of nice language that draws you alongside that. What I hope you'll find is that you can create something very quickly. There's not a lot of background or code set up. You can do it within just a few seconds. So to do that, we're going to do two things. We're going to set up two functions that look like this. And these work in slightly different ways. These are the two things that you need to start to build an interactive sketch. So the first of these, void setup, that will run once at the start of every program. So that's the first thing that will run. The second one of these that will run is the draw function. And what the draw function will do is basically just repeat itself over and over and over again until you tell it to stop by closing or including a command in your program to do that. There is this Java over here. So these are the different modes. So you can create processing within Python, within the Android development environment, and so on. So if you get kind of comfortable with the basic stuff, you can start to look at that and see, well, how can I use processing to make an app for my phone, if you've got an Android phone, for example. You can do JavaScript as well, so if you want to start including it in some web stuff that you've got going on, JavaScript is the way to do that. Okay, but we are going to stick with Java. We're going to run it on your desktop, your laptop, whatever it is you're using. So if I press run, or the play button, it's play and stop, so it's actually run. So if I press run, what I get is this very small sketch window here. So I can change the size of this sketch window. And I do that by typing size. And then I'm going to make mine 300 pixels along and 600 pixels down. So the first of that is the width of my screen, and the second parameter, 600, is the height of my screen. So I press run again. So the shortcut is Command R or Control R on Command R for Mac, Control R for Windows. And that draws me my sketch. So I can create different sizes of sketches just by changing this one command. And if you press stop, that's going to end. So this is all you need to know to get processing up and running. The other place that you need to be looking for information is in the processing website. There is a bunch of tutorials and examples. So the Hello Processing tutorial is a brilliant start. Welcome to Processing Introduction. This guy, Dan Schiffman, is amazing at teaching and kind of getting ideas across to people. So if you find any of his tutorials, some of them are coming up from YouTube later on in the course. Definitely worth your time to have a look at them. And there's a whole bunch of tutorials. So the one I suggest you kind of get started with is the getting started, the processing overview, and the coordinates, systems and shapes. But as we go through, you'll find that more and more of these become useful for you. And all you need to do is, if I click on one just to let you see, all that happens is there's a bit of an explanation and there'll be some code included in there that you can copy across and see if you can replicate that in your own program. The other option that you need to be aware of is the reference. So the reference basically contains every function available by default within processing. So if there's something that you don't know what to do, you can probably try and find it in the reference. So things are kind of set up by shape, by colour. There are more complex shapes as we go along. This section here of 2D primitives, this is a section you're going to look at first. Okay, so if ever you're stuck, processing.org/reference is going to have the answer. So what I want you to do now is I'd like you to go download processing. You can download it from the website and have a local copy on your machine, totally free. Go and do that, set that up, see if you can get it to this point that you can run the sketch, and then we'll move on to the next video and show you how you can save that information.